I'm so sorry for that. Um, it was not my, well, I guess it was my fault, but it was the court cam I was streaming with paused, so I had to switch to a new one. I'm sorry about that. Um, they should be back any minute. Be right back. So I know I was telling you guys I'm recording it and not watching it because I want to take all the breaks out. Maxwell Anderson unalived a girl after a date, and the little girl, well, she was 20 something, so yes, a little girl, um, lived not very far from me, and her body parts kept washing up on, I live on Lake Michigan, um, just out of Chicago, and they kept washing up on our beach, her body parts. I'm not kidding. And his trial started yesterday, so I'm recording it, taking all the breaks out so we can rewatch it. It's echoey. Hold on. Okay. Now I can hear myself on the TV. At least the microphone works again. That helps. So, Lori Daybell's new trial should be starting any day, I believe next week. I don't know how, I guess we'll do both maybe, like we did usually do. But man, we're gonna have to sneak this Maxwell Anderson in there sometime. Maybe I'll stream it on the weekends. I don't know. So much going on. And with this case, everybody just totally feels, I think the whole world is on one side or the other. I don't believe that the cops, any law enforcement, had anything to do with John O'Keefe dying. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't know, who knows, but I've been married to almost 25 years, and my husband is a retired detective and crime scene investigator. And he thought the snowblower and the solo cups were not a bad idea, considering the blizzard. They were not in their police vehicles in the beginning. They were just in their trucks because they needed to get through the weather. But which unaliving, Dave? The little girl? It was just like last year this happened. He's already, so, but it's such an interesting story about the Maxwell Anderson, because he comes from a pretty prominent family, has wealth, had everything, and this pretty little girl he took to dinner, and it was last year, maybe the year before, but I believe it was last year when the last arm washed up, and they had just arrested him. So I guess I could always go to Milwaukee, huh? It's about a 25-minute drive for me. I could always go to court. Then what fun would that be? I'd rather be here with you guys. But Maxwell Anderson, I'm very, very interested. And I noticed yesterday when I was going through the court cams, not very many people were watching. And then today, when I was just re-looking for this, there was like more and more. So I think it's going to be a pretty good trial. So put that one on our schedule. Maxwell Anderson, of course, Lori Daybell starts next week. And this, how many more weeks do you think we have to go here? 4? I don't think they'll let me record in court. Dave? You can't have your phones in court. Hi, Monica. Welcome back, sweetie. Hope you had a good morning. And just so everybody knows, I'm Central Time, so it's 10 o'clock here, so I put court ends at 12. Wherever you are, it would be your time zone, of course. And they're leaving early today because a juror has an appointment. So we get the afternoon off. Woo woo. I think I'm painting my bathroom. I think I'm gonna go back to painting my bathroom. I did one coat. Dave, I'm gonna buy one of those little lapel pins and go to court. Do that? Yeah, Jennifer from Facebook, I agree. Lori, I'm pretty much over Lori Daybell. Like her shenanigans and her flip up the hair. Well, of course you have long, beautiful hair, sister. You can't go anywhere to ruin it. If that makes you sleep well at night, go ahead. She's dirty, dirty, dirty. Bless his fake mustache. Let me find something, Dave. Incognito, huh? Yeah, so Lori Daybell has actually filed for the judge to recuse himself. And I'm very surprised because he has been pretty even keeled. And, well, you know, just like the judge in Manitowoc with Darrell Brooks. You know, he is doing his own appeal. They don't go to a courtroom for appeal, do they? Does the judge just...
Please be seated, court is in session.
We were denied to hear it. And then
The redirect, Mr. Brennan.
not going to hear his appeal.
Thank you.
Right, here we go. More or less, he is a very good debater, but his little big voice sometimes...
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brannon.
You were asked some questions.
Actually, it's morning, but yes.
You were asked some questions about the ring video from Meadows, which was John O'Keefe's home. And you were asked whether you were aware if the cameras had changed over time.
Correct.
The fact that the camera was replaced, does that in any way affect your opinion to a reasonable degree of engineering certainty about your conclusions relative to that touching between the cars?
Absolutely not. It would have shown up as increased error when we overlaid the point clouds onto the photos or the point clouds onto the video. If it was an error, it would have showed an error.
Do you have any concern whatsoever that any of the information from the scan is in any way tainted, compromised, or inadequate?
That would be very hard to do. You literally press a button and stand there and watch it, and the laser does its thing. So I have absolutely no reason to disbelieve it. Additionally, again, if it was messed up, once you laid it over on top of the photograph, it would show the difference. So no, the data is fine.
Is there any evidence whatsoever that you've seen that any parts of your presentation were photoshopped?
No.
You were asked questions about the suspension of the motor vehicle of the defendant's Lexus. Do you have any information that the suspension at any point was changed?
No.
Yesterday you were asked a number of questions about formulas. You took out your calculator and you were asked about different variables. Were those variables hypotheticals or were they related to this specific case?
So they seemed hypothetical. Again, you have to be careful when you're talking about failure forces on biomechanical things. For example, if you impact a hand with a, say, 1-inch narrow metal bar, that's a lot different than if you have a broad, say, plastic taillight or rear body panel. So when you have distributed loads, you can take much more. I told you guys about sitting on the bed, like how much you sink in. That's an example of spreading your load out. When you spread the load out, you don't sink in as much. So same thing with, forces on your body. If you take this pencil, I don't have to press very hard for it to pull in. But if I spread it out, I have to press much harder. So you have to look at the distribution of the load when you're talking about the failure. So when you look at the failure loads, it depends on what you're doing it with. If I hit you with a 5-pound 2x4 or a 5-pound pillow, they're both 5 pounds, but you'd much rather get hit by the pillow than the 2x4.
When you were asked questions about communications, when you would have communications with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, Did you ever use encrypted apps to secretly hide your communications? Apps like Signal?
No, I don't have any of those.
So the form of the question, ask it differently.
When you were communicating with members of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, did you ever use encrypted apps like Signal to communicate?
Objection, scope, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow
No, I mean, I don't even know what that is.
Would you ever use an encrypted app so those communications couldn't be tracked?
No.
Would you ever have any reason as a professional for doing that?
Objection, Your
it.
Honor.
Sustained.
You were asked about confirmation bias. You remember those questions?
I do?
Could I have slide 33 of your PowerPoint, please? Slide 33.
Give me a second. $33.
You could zoom that in, please. A little larger so we can see it.
I cannot do it with one monitor.
You can't do it any closer than that?
No, not since I took down, hold on. There we go. Which part do you want me to zoom in?
Ms. Gilman can zoom in for you.
Sorry? Which part?
Ms. Gilman's going to do it for you.
Oh, there you go, perfect.
If you could zoom in, please. Okay. On shift position signal, going forward, then neutral and reverse. Does that data suffer from confirmation bias?
No, that's strictly electronic data.
When we look over at the vehicle's speed, can we go to the left a little bit? Down. Vehicle speed ending at 2361 miles per hour. Does that suffer from confirmation bias?
No, again, these are direct readings from the vehicle. Again, that speed on this here, you have to correct for the slippage, which I do later on in the slide, but that is a direct reading from what the speedometer is seeing.
Acceleration at the end of that 10-second window, 74%. Does that suffer from confirmation bias?
No, that's a direct reading of a sensor. It's objective information.
I have no further questions, thank you.
Wow.
Anything, Mr. Lessie?
Your Honor.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Welcher, you were just asked questions about slide 33, which is the slide about text stream data. You acknowledge that text stream data, what you've called a trigger, like was on that slide, does not tell you if a collision even occurred, correct?
Correct.
With regard to the topic of confirmation bias that you were just asked about in slide 33, am I correct that all of the questions that Attorney Brennan just asked you were about data on that slide, correct? All that's on that slide is data, correct?
And he asked me more questions than just this slide.
But were the questions just about data?
On this slide, it was just about data.
Correct. But confirmation bias is really aimed at opinions and conclusions and alternative hypotheses. Isn't that what confirmation bias gets at?
So, generally, yes. Again, I started this case with
There was
the
just a question.
hypothesis.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
With the hypothesis that the Lexus didn't contact Mr. O'Keefe. And so I start what's called the null hypothesis, that this didn't happen. And then I look at evidence to either include or exclude the null hypothesis. So theoretically, my confirmational bias starts with a bias that it didn't happen.
Can you point to one document that shows that you analyzed whether there was no contact between the Lexus and Mr. O'Keefe. You could point to one document. Was there one document on your slide presentation that analyzed the null hypothesis as you call it, there being no contact at all? Was there any slide in your direct testimony?
So remember what I said, we start with hypothesis, we get more data, we whittle down our hypothesis to the final answer. I mean, there was a bunch of testing I did with the Lexus about backing, pedestrian detection that, removed certain hypotheses. So if I was able to eliminate a hypothesis, I didn't present it here.
Sir, my question is not about you.
All the slides show that, to answer your question.
Sir, my question is there any slide that says alternative hypothesis to whatever the label is, whatever the term, it says no contact between the Lexus vehicle and Mr. O'Keefe? Is there any document that you presented to the jury that shows that?
Any document where those words are written on it?
Correct.
No.
And to work through hypotheses, different ones, and to see whether there's confirmation bias, have you heard of scientists refer that as showing your math, so to speak, in working through hypotheses, documenting each hypothesis and how and why you rejected them? Have you heard of that term in the scientific world, show your math with confirmation biases and alternative hypotheses? Just a question, have you heard the idiom, the phrase, show your math?
Your question is, have I ever heard show your math, period?
Associated with the application of various hypotheses to avoid confirmation bias. Have you heard of that term used in that conjunction?
Not really in that
Okay.
context. It's probably, I understand where you're going with it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
No further questions.
Dr. Welcher, you are all set.
Oh my God, thank you. Give me a minute to pack up and I will be out of here. Oh, yeah, I'm plugged in, yes, thank you.
Excuse me? Yes, you can.
Thank you. May I step down?
Yes, you can. Thank
Pleasure
you very
to meet
much.
you.
Is he done? He's done? What are we gonna do? Who's next?
Mr. Brennan?
We're done for the day. I don't, just kidding.
Commonwealth moves to introduce and play clip 26.
Clips are the best.
So I thought, could I have run him over? Did he try to get me as I was leaving and I didn't know it? I mean, I've always got the music blasting. It's snowing. I got the wipers going, the heater blasting. Did he come and hit the back of my car and I hit him in the knee and he's drunk and passed out and asphyxiated or something? And then when I hired David Yannetti, I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if, I don't know, what if I ran his foot over or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed passed out or went to care for himself and threw up or passed out and David's dead, then you have some element of culpability.
Bingo.
Exhibit 207.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth rests.
I bet we're done till tomorrow.
Does council want to see me?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, so should we send the jury out or should?
Probably, yes.
So jurors, so everybody can sit. So jurors, the Commonwealth rests. That means that the Commonwealth's case has been presented to you for your consideration. So I need to meet with the lawyers for a few minutes, so we're going to send you back out. I can tell you that it now appears that we're at least on schedule, if not a little ahead of schedule. So we'll send you back out for a short recess. Right. Can council come to sidebar, please?
So, Dave, there's another clip. I mean, it's in the documentary. I don't know if he's going to show the clip, but it was when a magazine or something reached out to her, and she was in the car with her lawyers, but she's in the back seat, just like when John was unalived, and they were looking for him. But anyway, she's in the back seat, and she's talking about how they want to interview her, and she gets up and like looks up and looks at the rear view mirror and says, "Ooh, I'm gonna be on TV." I was like, "Girl, you hit him." She was so excited she's gonna be on TV. And then in the documentary, she's talking about because they followed her through the first trial. If you had not watched it, it's on ID or Max, and the documentary, it's called The Body in the Snow, Karen Reed Trial. So they show her getting ready for court. And then she's like getting all beautiful. All she talks about is she goes back and looks at how she ended up looking by the end of the day in court. Come on. She has 0. They asked her, do you miss John? No, this is all about me. It's me or Jim McCabe. One of us is going down. I don't know how Jim McCabe did anything. I think Karen was jealous of her, but I don't think she did anything to this man. Yeah, the documentary, so good. Totally changed. Well, no, my opinion's been the same. I think she's a drunk driver and had an accident and doesn't remember. She overcharged? Yes. But then she starts sleeping with Turtle Boy and giving him the information. And then Turtle Boy starts harassing everybody. She brought this on herself, in just my opinion. But, I mean, do I think she should go to jail forever? No, but she should definitely quit drinking and driving, which I think is not gonna happen, since in the documentary, she actually made a comment about how her dad taught her to drive when she was drunk. Yeah, and they are quite the little duo, Karen and her dad, that's sitting right there. Whenever something's said that they don't like, Karen looks back at him, he looks at her, and then his face turns so red when he's listening. And then has everybody seen the picture or the video? Court TV blurred it out. But Karen's in court last week. I don't remember who was testifying. I believe it was the head detective after Proctor had left. And she's in court with 2 attorneys sitting next to her doing this. Flipping the freaking witness off and everybody else in the courtroom. The judge nor her attorneys saw it, of course, but it's all over the internet now. Yuri, was that who was on? It was when Yuri was on. I don't want to butcher his name, Bushnik? I went to high school in Germany. You would think I would know this. It's not German, but it's close. So the culpability she has, I mean, is what I'm actually really more interested in, and that's just being, you know, a noisy court junkie, that Hank won his motion to get all of the text messages, emails, etc., between Karen and Turtle Boy. And I have a feeling she might find herself in some trouble there. So I don't think this is her last rodeo in the courts. But we'll see. If she, I mean, I do, if she gets off, I really do hope she goes and moves somewhere on a beach she can drink her life away and not hit anybody else. Because it's sad. Uber, how much is an Uber? Mm-hmm. So sad. But I do know cops like to drink and drive, even though they should know better. So that's what's up with Karen Reed. But if you've not watched the documentary, I watched it twice. I made my husband watch it with me again. I thought it told us a lot more than I think we found out before the first trial. And the first trial was such a sham. I mean, they didn't bring up in any of this, and I really think it's that they were so shocked, which I was, by all of the protesters. There was nobody at all against her. Now there are people out there saying, you know, should be Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, I think. But there are people out there that believe. So come verdict day, I think half the world will be happy, half the world will be sad. But we move on to another one. Just remember, don't drink and drive. That's what Uber's for. Or kids, call your parents. They don't care, I promise. Yeah. Jennifer on Facebook said she's still got to stay away from Canton because everyone there seems to drink and drive. So this is funny. I was cleaning yesterday and I just looked down and I put this ring on, and I think it was my daughter's when she was like little. It's plastic. It's really cute. It has little red roses all over it. Cherries? Oh, cherries. Oops. But anyway, I put it on to save it. I save all the kids' stuff. And I put it on. I'm like, what is that thing? Anyway. So I think today they might end. I don't think this defense, maybe they're ready to start their case, but I bet they didn't think till Monday. Yeah, but we'll see. And I am gonna log off. If anyone's interested in the Maxwell Anderson, I'm gonna go ahead and start it and watch opening statements this afternoon so we don't get too far behind. It didn't take them very long, so I'll go ahead and restart that. Of course, I'll put it on each of the sites. I guess that's all right now. All right, well, I'm gonna set up Maxwell Anderson and listen to what the judge thinks they're gonna do. Because they had to end at noon anyway. It's 10:30. All right, I'll shut up my silly voice and I'm gonna play Maxwell Anderson. Be right back. Oh, what happened to the juror that was joining their team? She didn't stay long. She was gone. She's definitely gone. I wonder why. They didn't need her, or she wasn't so great. Or she changed her mind once she saw the evidence. That would be better. Be right back. I don't know why this is, I will go to court. Well, while we're waiting, hold on. Okay, so while we're waiting, this is what it says about Maxwell Anderson, from arrest to jury trial. This is funny, considering how many weeks are we into this trial? And Maxwell Anderson, like, there were body parts floating around here for a long time. And his trial is scheduled to last 2 whole weeks. So, Maxwell Anderson is charged with first degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson of property, and hiding a corpse, and the death of unaliving of 19-year-old Sade Robinson, who disappeared April 1st of 2024. So it was barely a year ago. He must have either they're not busy or he just, anyway. Anderson was arrested around 1:15 p.m. on April 4th. The charges were filed April 12th. Anderson made an initial appearance in court the same day. A cash bond was set at $5 million. Judge Jean Kais is assigned the case. This is, hold on. This is not giving me what I want. I'm so sorry. It's like I don't care about each and every time.
Gotcha.
Oh, they're back. I'll post a clip when I find it. But I am going to start opening statements after this. I'm going to start on a new site, or I'm going to shut down and restart just because this one's, Mark Karen Reed. And if anybody's looking for us, they'll be like, this is not Karen Reed. So hope you'll jump back in. Oh, Monica, I know that you hate that when your kids come and they leave. Yeah, mine were here last week. One of them and his girlfriend till the weekend, and it's so sad when they leave. But I also like to have my house back. I'm naughty. Okay, what are we doing here? I'm still looking for Maxwell. I'm trying to just find where it breaks down, like who he is, what he did. We'll learn everything else in court. Yeah, that poor little girl. He looks evil. Mm-mm-mm. She was a very pretty girl, too. It's so crazy. It's so close to home. It's over. What are they doing? Are they calling the jury back in? Probably to tell them what's going on.
Court is in session, please be seated.
Hi, so jurors, we all, it happens several times a day, doesn't it? So, we don't want to waste anybody's time. I know we've spent a lot of time at sidebar, and we've had times that we've kept you in the deliberation room because we've been trying to sort through everything, trying to make this trial as efficient as possible, but also honoring and respecting all the hard work of the lawyers that's gone into preparing this trial. So sometimes I do understand that it's frustrating for you. But today we were able to spend some time this morning. I know we kept you in there almost a half an hour, and we've just spent some time now. So I can tell you that we are ahead of schedule right now. I still need to talk to the lawyers about something tomorrow morning. So we're going to send you home now and have you come back tomorrow morning at 9:30, because today I know we kept you
until 9:30, and it doesn't make any sense where I already know I need to talk to the lawyers tomorrow morning to have you here for a 9 o'clock start. So tomorrow will be a full day, and we'll have you here ready to start at 9:30. Okay, so those same cautions. Please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation into the case. If you happen to see, hear, or read anything about the case, please disregard it and let us know.
And also, please continue to be careful with your social media use. So we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Rise for the jury.
Okay, so I put a link on all the platforms. I'm gonna close out and restart with Maxwell.